Awesome. We're live. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you're tuning in from. It is Visibility Vibes with Ruth Baby. And we have our amazing PR chick, the PR chick, Naomi Garrick, here with us. So please do say welcome in the comments. You know, give us a one if you can hear and see us, and let us know where you're joining us from. You're welcome, Naomi.
Thank you, Ruth. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, everyone. I'm here in Kingston, Jamaica, so it's still morning here.
Oh, welcome. And so whilst we wait for some people to start giving comments, I will have to follow on the comments with my phone. So if you see me looking
Okay.
down, I'm looking at my phone because I can't see the comments on screen. And so if you're leaving a comment from YouTube or from Facebook, do leave a comment and say hello. Now, so for give us a brief rundown of how you came about the PR journey
Sure. So as I
and
said,
where you started from and what you're doing now.
okay, sure, no problem.
Yes.
So my name is Naomi Garrick. I am the lead PR chick at Garrick Communications, and I'm also a personal branding coach, an international speaker, and an author of 3 personal branding books. And for me, I've actually been in PR, public relations, for the last 10, well, I'd say maybe 15 to 16 years. And I've had my PR agency for the last 10 years. We actually just celebrated our 10th anniversary. So I've been working with brands, international
Wow.
brands and local brands for the last, I would say, last 15 years. I've probably worked with over 100 different types of brands. But over the last 3 years, I started doing
Okay.
personal branding. Um, One, a lot of my clients started reaching out to me for advice about how they're presenting themselves in person, online, offline. And I was actually enrolled into a program called
Okay.
Bank Vision Achievers. And in that program, our coach had suggested finding ways to make additional revenue, like writing a book. And so I started writing this book about building your personal brand because that's what I knew just from my experience and my own personal journey. And because of that workbook, it's 8 steps to building your personal brand. It led to speaking engagements, corporate workshops, individual coaching clients, webinars, and just a whole array of different
Okay.
things. And I've also realized that I get a lot of fulfillment helping individuals to get clarity on who they are, understanding their value, and how to communicate this to the rest of the world. So I actually get a lot more fulfillment doing that than what I do as the owner of a PR agency working with brands.
Wow. And so, I mean, so it's safe to say that you finally come home, you're in your zone, and you're
Yes,
doing what you really love to do, right?
absolutely.
Amazing. And so, give us like uh, the top 3 things that you feel that you believe from your experience and from your expertise in working with big corporations and then small scale businesses, solopreneurs. What would you say are the things that they should focus on when they want to build an online brand? Take it from there.
Sure, no problem. So first I'll start by talking about what a personal brand is. And a personal brand is a combination of things, right? We're using it now like it's this new thing. Everyone needs to have a personal and professional brand. But everyone has a personal brand because it's simply your reputation. The only difference now is that, and I like to say that your reputation has legs because now your reputation can be in a room even when you're not there. Your reputation shows up when someone just does a Google search about you to see who you are, to see if you actually are the person that you say you are. Because a lot of times we show up in person not in the same way that we show up online. So it's very important to do something as simple as a Google search or use a search engine to find out what comes up for you if someone were to search for your name. And why that's important is because people are making decisions about working with you, using your brands, using your services, using your products, sharing your information with others, and endorsing your brand. And so you have to ensure that you're showing up in the right way online as you would do offline. And I think some of the misconceptions individuals or entrepreneurs have about personal branding, and you asked for three, is a lot of people believe that personal branding is only for influencers and celebrities. And that's not true, because your personal brand is you. It's you as an individual. It's you understanding what your unique value is and what you have to offer to the world, what you have to offer to your ideal client or customer. What is the problem that you solve? What's the question that you answer? And so personal branding is for everyone. Everyone has a personal brand, but we choose how we're showing up with this brand in the different spaces. Number two is, a lot of people think that there is a separation between your personal brand and your professional brand. And I would say, especially as an entrepreneur, your brand is you. And for most of us as entrepreneurs, our businesses are stemmed from who we are at our core as individuals. It sets the tone for our mission statement, the vision that we have for our company, the people that we hire, and the clients that we work with. And so, especially for entrepreneurs, and in this day and age when people want to search and feel connected to someone, it's important for you to be showing up with your brand so people can connect the dots and say that, oh, Naomi Garrick, I actually know her. She's the PR chick. She's the head of Garrick Communications. People want to be able to tie in the brand with an actual identity and a person. And that's how people even nowadays start choosing what companies they want to work for based on who is at the top. They want to ensure that that company or that brand resonates with who they are at their core and with some of their core values that are important to them as well. So that's number two.
Yes. Let me just quickly add this question. Not to derail you now, but what happens if someone says, I don't want to be the face of my brand. I don't want to be the face of my business.
That's fine. I would say that's fine, because there are a lot of companies where the CEO or the founder wants to be behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, you can have your managing director or your corporate communications manager or your brand manager, and they're the face of the brand. But you still have a personal brand. You are still the founder of that company at the end of the day. So you just want to ensure that when people actually do interact with you, or if they search for you online as well, that you are showing up in the right way in all of these spaces. Because if people, you may not be the face every day, you're not doing the interviews, you're not going to the events, but people still know that you're the founder of the brand. So it's still important for you to just be very aware of that, right? That it comes back to you. So I think the third thing that I would say
thank you.
I find that a lot of entrepreneurs don't take the time to really understand what is the unique value that they have to offer to their ideal audience. Sometimes I'll ask entrepreneurs, who's your target audience? And they'll say, everybody. Everybody cannot be your target audience. So it's very important to really, one, understand what are your unique skills, what's your unique value, what is it that you do differently in your industry from someone else, and who actually needs your services. So it takes a lot of introspection to really understand all of that as well.
Amazing. And so you need to understand the value. I mean, I like that the last point that you made. You need to understand the value that you bring to the marketplace, because many people just feel, if I am a coach or a business person, I'm doing almost what every other person is doing, but there is a uniqueness. There is your training, your experience, your training, your experience, your passion. Yeah, I know there were three things that I usually talk about that makes you different from the other person. And so your perspective and the way you deliver your business would definitely be different from the other person. Now, so when someone's starting out online, or they've been running a business and they want to be serious about building a personal brand. And is it possible to build a personal brand without a website?
Absolutely. Because without the website, you
Okay.
already have a personal brand. The website just allows you to amplify,
Yeah.
right? So why I think websites are important, though I
Mm-hmm.
recommend them, is because your personal website or your business website is the only platform online that is going to speak very clearly about you and your brand because you provide that content and information. Sometimes you do a Google search, and because you don't have a website, what will come up is an article about you from 3 years ago in an industry that you're not even in right now. Or you show up on someone's portal in a job that you had 10 years ago that you don't have right now. Or it will pull your Instagram page that you actually really use for your personal life and not for business. And so when you have your own website, it helps because it allows you to put the correct information out there that's relevant to who you are today and in this moment. And it's so easy to that now because like I have my own website using wix.com, wix.com, and I have no
Yeah.
experience in website development. But because I have my own website, and now I'm getting someone to do it professionally, but I've had my own website for 3 years that I do myself. And because of that, if you search for Naomi Garrick or Naomi Garrick, the PR chick, that's what usually comes up first in a search result for me. And then you see my LinkedIn, and then you see my Instagram and my Garrett Communications website. And so that's important for me because then people get to go directly to where I need them to go to get accurate information. So if you don't have a website though, social media is amazing for building your online presence. LinkedIn comes up into your top 5 search results when someone searches for you. So you have to make sure that what you have on LinkedIn is current and it's up to date and it's not just there as a resume holder, but you are actually engaging and interacting with other individuals from different industries or industries that you're interested in the same way that you would use Facebook and Instagram to connect and share. I mean, LinkedIn is really the place where business people go to connect. There are over 600 million users. So your ideal audience must be
Wow.
there too. But you have to ensure that you're on your platforms the right way. So what I encourage people to do is do your own online brand audit. Start with the Google search and see what comes up first. And then look at the platforms that are showing up for you and ensure that they're updated and accurate. If there are platforms that you're signed up in that you actually don't use them, cancel the account or put it on pause because it's still a search results even if you're not active on the platform. So
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
you
And
can
so
have,
this brings us to our next question.
yes,
you know, what do you now share on social media? That's content. And so content is amazing. Content is the key to how you're perceived. And so your personal brand, you taking control of how people see you is by sharing intention. And so what is the place of content and what kind of content should people share in order to build a positive image of themselves online?
sure. So I would go back to the why. Why do you need to be online anyway? That's the first question. Why do you believe you need to be online? And then it goes back content just by understanding what our audience needs from us. And so when you take the time to really understand who your audience is, what are the problems that they have that you actually can solve, that already helps you to create the framework for your online brand and the content that you should be sharing. So you have to do the introspection. So I like to use what I call the CVC model, and it's clarity, value, communication. So it starts first with just getting that clarity on who you are, what's important to you, what are your core values for you and your company or your brand. And then why do you need to be online? What is the purpose? What's the end goal behind it? And then value. You have to be very clear on what your unique value is, what's your offering, what are the problems that you're solving, because that already helps you to start thinking about, okay, these are the questions that my clients always ask me, and I always have the solution. Let me share that today. And then C is communication. So you have to figure out who your ideal audience is, where they live online, so that you are able to communicate with them in the right way and in the right place.
Amazing. So clarity, value, and communication. So it all starts from within. So it doesn't mean that if you think that you're seeing someone who is in the same market space as you are, you then begin to copy and paste. Okay, this is what this person is doing. Let me also replicate, because you have to work from within. What am I supposed to be doing? Where am I at? What am I going to be pushing out? What value is it bringing to my audience? And in what form am I going to be creating content? Now, building a personal brand, now we've touched on a bit of it earlier. I would say if someone says they're an introvert, I don't want to be all over the social media, how can they maintain a low profile, in quotes, and still have a profitable, a strong personal brand?
So yesterday I was watching my friend Paul Brunson's live on LinkedIn, and he brought in a colleague of mine who's also another brand expert, Nick Nelson. He's called a brandpreneur. And one of the things that he said is you have to open your brand mouth and stop being brand humble. So I can understand if you're an introvert, going online is scary, right? It is a weird experience, especially if you're going live and if it's not something you're used to. I also used to be in that space. So as a PR professional, I'm used to being behind the scenes and telling my clients what to do, what to say, where to show up. That's not me. And I had to start getting comfortable over the last 3 years because I understood my brand mission and how important that was. And the fact that if by me coming online and sharing something, even if it made me a little bit uncomfortable in the moment, could impact someone in a positive way, because that's my driving force, to impact and inspire in a positive way through my journey, then I will jump online because that's a part of my brand mission, is to impact. And so we have to always remember, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, we all have this brand. We all have our reputation, our personal brand. People are in the business of not necessarily purchasing goods and services, but they're in the business of feeling and connection and emotion. And people connect in a real way when they can see you, when they feel like they understand you, when they think that they're a part of your tribe. And so it's important for us to figure out how can we be showing up online without being someone that we're not. So people still need to be authentic to who they are at their core. And so you're as an introvert, you decide, okay, I'm not going to be on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. I'm going to choose one platform. I'm going to do a live post once a week. And that's fine. Whereas an extrovert may come on live 3 times for the day. And that's fine too. So you have to find your comfort zone. But the way that the world is moving now, we're moving into a very online space where we have the ability to connect with anyone. Here you are, you're in Nigeria, I'm in Jamaica. We have a 6-hour time difference and we're connecting right now in this webinar just by reaching out on LinkedIn. So it just shows you that there are so many opportunities available to you online. So it's about just taking the time to really think about what your brand mission is. Why do you need to be in this space? And then think about, if I could choose one platform that I'd be comfortable enough to, even if I don't start by going live, but I'm just sharing content, right? And you can have a brand manager. You can have someone that's responsible for your brand. But I do think it's important for anyone, an entrepreneur, founder, CEO, to also let their voice be heard in their online space, in the space that's most comfortable for them. It could be a blog on your website where you actually don't have to be visible. If someone searches for you, they can find your article and still feel some kind of sense of connection to you and your product or service. So, and then, you know, as Nick said, I find that especially with women, we are not as, it's a little bit harder for us to jump online and to expose our brand and to brag about who we are or showcase our value and our talents and say that we're amazing. But as he said, we have to stop being brand humble. We have to get
Yeah.
over that, because I remember I actually hired a coach to help me to get comfortable building my online brand about 2 years ago. And one of the first things she said to me is that she said, Naomi,
Hmm.
if you don't open your mouth, people will not know what you have to say. And then what happens is you will find in your
True.
field of
True.
expertise that are
Yeah.
not as great as you are, but because they're showing up online, people are choosing them and their services over you, even if you're the better choice, because they can't find you. And so you're doing yourself, your brand, your
Yes.
company a disservice if you are not positioning it online. You're missing out on opportunities that were meant for you, but people can't find you.
I mean, that's the truth here. That's the truth. And one quick thing I want to add is the fact that you should create content in the way that is most comfortable for you. A lot of
Yeah.
people will say, yeah, this is 2020 videos are what's working. And a lot of people are like, no, I don't really think I want to do videos or right now. And so if you're comfortable with writing, write. If
Yeah.
you're comfortable with speaking but not in front of camera, you can do podcasts. You can build a platform on an audio platform and share your thoughts and connect with people and engage with your audience. If you're comfortable doing videos, you can go ahead and go all out and do videos. If you even want to do videos without showing your face and share slides and then just
Yep.
talk over the slides, you can. And so there's no one size fits all, even though yes, as brand specialists, you can have people, content creators that would repurpose your content and all that. But for you as a person, you can create content in the way that is most comfortable for you, so that you
Yeah.
don't need to think that it's a mountain. I would have to get all the lights and camera and sound and this and
Right.
that. No, everything
You
doesn't have to be perfect. So if
right.
you if you can right now,
You
right?
just need a good
If you can do
smartphone.
a
That's
voice
all.
note, go ahead.
That's all. You just need, I mean, smartphones
Mm-hmm.
are so great right now. You can do
Amazing,
everything on them.
amazing, amazing.
You can download the right apps.
Yeah,
Once you have a
yeah.
smartphone with good camera quality, I would only recommend maybe getting like a tripod so you can have the phone on something and just hit record or whatever. But as you said, there are a lot of other
Mm-hmm.
options other than video. I mean, I try out and test and measure.
Yeah.
I try different forms of content on different platforms to see what resonates with my audience best. Because on LinkedIn, my audience may like when I share slide presentations and video, whereas on Instagram, it's more photos. So I test and measure different things to see
Yeah.
what resonate with more.
Mm.
Yeah.
Great, great. Now, so for the profitability part, now there are some of my clients, people I've worked with. There are people who have a large following. They are either into music or drama, or they built a large following, but they are literally struggling with bringing in the cash flow. So how can you set up your brand in such a way that you can build a profitable brand? You can make money and not just become famous and broke. So,
So I would say one, it always goes back to value. You have to be willing to give your value, and sometimes it's even for free. People, as I said, if people don't know who you are, then they won't trust your brand enough to purchase from you. And so you have a responsibility to be showing up in your spaces online. So showing up in your spaces online, and then also giving value, answering those questions. But you have to identify who your audience is first. Who are they? Who are you speaking to? What do they need from you right now? And then when I say find out about your audience, my audience is actually segmented. I have people that are young professionals that actually are just building their personal brand, right? So they are just starting. So I have to use products and services for them that are within their price range as well, something that they can afford, and something that's easy for them to understand and use to get to the next level. Then I have people that are a little bit more advanced, and so they'll want to do a webinar or they'll want to pay to do a workshop. And then I have another set, which would, I guess, be my top tier, who actually want to pay for one-on-one coaching over a time period of 6 weeks to 8 weeks. And so because I understand my audience segment, I'm able to target them specifically based on the problems that they have and answering those problems. And so I show up in different ways using my online platforms, giving that information, sharing that value so that they understand that I am the expert in this area. I can actually help them. And even for those that can't afford my services right now, when they do have the money to do that, I will still remain top of mind for them because I was already just giving value without charging them for that value and information. So it's really about understanding your audience, breaking down your audience into the different segments based on the problems that they have and where they're at. They are also at financially. And then creating content that can serve them in a very meaningful way without you giving away everything. You could answer one question that really helps someone to say, wow, she really knows what she's talking about. Let me see what other services that she has. And make it easy for them to find you and to actually utilize the services.
Yeah, amazing. I think, and there's a question here. This person says that will that work with a service-based business or one that sells goods, being behind the scenes and not being the face of your brand? Will that work if you're running a service-based business or you're selling physical products?
If what will work? Being the face of your brand?
If not being the face of your brand, being behind the scenes and not being the face of your brand.
So
what would your best recommendation be?
My response will always be, whether it's a service-based industry or a product, people still want to know who you are. So I have lots of colleagues that are not in the service-based industry. They sell goods and they sell products. They sell, whether it's hair care products or it is ceramics that you use for your home. But like I said, people want to know what are the values behind the individual behind the brand as well. So for example, my colleague that does ceramics, what does she use to make these things? Does she care about the environment? Does she have a foundation or a charity that she supports? So I think of what my core values are, because that also helps me when I'm making a final purchasing decision. And what do other people say about the person and the product? So for me personally, I think it is important for people to be able to connect your product or service with the actual individual behind it. People want to feel connection and that you get them, right? But brands also, there are also big global brands that thrive without us knowing who is at the head. But it's changing. The world is changing because we have access to information. So people are now searching more and getting more information, where before we wouldn't even know because we couldn't even find out. But we're getting more curious. We want to know, and because the information is there, we can just simply type in the name of a company or a brand and learn all about them. I mean, even what's happening right now in the US, in America, with Black Lives Matter, a lot of individuals are watching to see how brands that they purchase or support are responding during this crisis. And there are some brands that will responding, will do this or not respond. And there are brands that will lose business during this time because they're not aligned with those core values that others may have. So that's when it starts to become really important. Because it's all, at the end of the day, the values and norms and missions will come from whoever is at the head. So people want to make sure they're spending money with a company that actually cares about them or believes in them or has their actual has them in mind, right, when creating this product or service. So I do think it's important for people to know who you are.
Okay. Yeah, and so to add to that, if you're given a choice to buy something from someone who you know the person who's behind it, and the other one you don't know who's behind it, and they are of the same quality, we would instinctively go towards the
Yeah,
one
we
who
know.
we know the
Correct.
person who's behind. Yeah, and with the global digitalization, knowing people, it's easy to know people who are not from where you are, and it's important for you to, not just because you want to sell, but because you want your product or your service to remain top of mind. That memorability, there, you're memorable because you're different. And so
Right.
your product is attached to you, your service is attached to you. Even if it's a partnership, there
Yeah.
should be a communication as
And
to
and
who
that's what makes partnerships
is
so powerful
yeah,
as well. Because it affects everything,
okay.
right? Because what if you
Hmm.
partner with someone that's actually not aligned with your core values? Then
Yeah,
you can end up having mixed
that's where
signals for your brand, right? So it does go back to who you are at your core, I believe. And for me, I'm very relationship driven, even in my business. I think that's why we've done so well, because for the 10 years that we've had the agency, we've never advertised our company. It has just been through recommendations, referrals, and of course our results as well.
mm,
But relationships played a very big role in that, because we
okay.
believe in nurturing relationships with everyone that we meet, not just our clients, but our suppliers, the people that we work with on a day-to-day basis, people in the media. And so those relationships
Okay.
hold true to this day as they were 10 years ago. So your
Mm,
brand is really
yeah. Let's
experience. You want to think about what is the experience that you're leaving with someone when they meet and interact and engage with you for the first time, and throughout that brand relationship.
um yeah, yeah. And so we have come to an understanding today that everyone has a personal
Yes.
brand, whether or not you're actively pushing it out or not. You have a personal brand, and it is your responsibility to you and your business to intentionally build it by sharing content on whatever platform you decide to choose in the format that is you're most comfortable with, because
Yes.
you want to be in control of the narrative that people find when they search for you on Google.
Yes.
That's what we came here to see. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing, amazing. So, yeah, so how can, if anyone wants to come to get in touch with you, connect with you, learn from you, yes, you have your online course. So tell us a bit more about that and how anyone can reach you.
Sure, no problem. So you can, on LinkedIn, you can just search for Naomi Garrick. On Instagram, it's the PR Chick or Naomi Garrick. So you'll see on my signature there, it says Naomi at the PR Chick. So just put at the PR Chick on Instagram. And also you can visit my website. I am naomigarrick.com. And as you just heard, I literally just launched my online course. It's a PR Chick's Guide to Building Your Personal Brand. It's an online course with 18 modules. It's 18 coaching videos and actionable worksheets that you download and complete for each module. I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can, Ruth, let me drop the link for it in the chat, in the private chat, and then you can probably maybe put it on
Okay.
screen.
I
So
can
let me,
put, yeah, I can put it on the screen. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, that's really amazing, because everyone who is here, the first assignment Naomi gave to us is for you to go to Google right now and do a social media audit. I don't know if you heard that. If you didn't hear it, you're hearing it again.
yes,
So um, get your social media audit done. When you then when you see what your audit is about, okay, yeah, I'm getting the link now. When you have gotten when you get the audit, when you see what Google says about you, you can then decide that, okay, I want to change this narrative. I want to use I want to change this, I want to delete this account, I want to add this, I want this to be dominant, because it is important the way you show up. Yeah, and so even those who already have, yeah, that's the link to the online course,
yes.
bit naomi.ly/prg40 course. So please go ahead and get the course because it is hands-on. It's a practical online course for you to get your personal branding put together. Practice, practice, practice. So yeah, follow her at Naomi at the PR chick, and on LinkedIn is Naomi Garrick,
Garrick, yes.
right? Yeah. And so any last words for? Let me check if there's questions
Sure.
on
I think
Facebook.
the last thing I would say is that, as it always goes back to, the same CVC module, which is about, and that's what the course actually breaks out the CVC steps. So it goes back to getting that clarity on who you are, understanding what your core values are, what you're passionate about, what's most important to you, what is your driving force, what are some of your personal and professional goals, right? And then understanding what your value is, what is your unique value, how are you showing up in your online and offline spaces, are you answering the right questions for your ideal audience. Oh, I'm sorry, let me see how I stop this. Are you asking the right questions for your ideal audience? And then communication. Where does your audience live, online or offline? Because you need to be showing up in those spaces and ensuring that by identifying your brand avatar, your ideal client, you can know where to find them and also answer the questions that only you can solve for them.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Naomi. This has been wonderful learning from you. Everyone who's here, thank you, Jane. Jane is really doing a recap of most of this. I can't pin Facebook comments right here, but they've been really amazing on Facebook as well.
Awesome.
And so, yes, thank you everyone who has joined in. Thank you, and thank you for sharing. Do share. If you haven't shared this episode, share, tag your friends, your business colleagues, let them come and hear these things, because if they don't know, they won't be able to push it. And then most times, once you pick up your phone, you can just get caught up in scrolling and looking at things, and time is going. Time
Yes.
that you could have used to build your own business, you just feel, okay, it's them, I don't know how to do it. So come and learn how to do it. Get the
Exactly.
Let me put this up again. Get the online course and get started in pushing out your personal brand for business and being serious about making your personal brand work for you.
Thank
Once
you
again,
so
thank
much,
you,
Ruth.
Naomi. All right, people. Okie dokie. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for the engagement on Facebook. I love you guys. It has been an amazing time, and I'm super, super, super excited that we get to do this. Please do follow her. Our speaker has been amazing. Her handle will be put in the comments as well. And so please connect. She's an amazing person. There are other videos on her profile that you can learn from. Content is king. Content is king. And if you haven't in your own content cookbook, it will help you to create the content that you need to share on social media. Send me a DM and then get your own copy. Do share this video. They will be back again, same time on Tuesday, 4 p.m. We're trying to keep this under 45 minutes, and I'm glad we did this in 40 minutes. Yeah, so that we know that we're doing this under 45 minutes and we're done. Thank you, everyone. I am super, super glad that we get to do this. Once again, it is visibility vibes with Ruth Zubeiru. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Thank you also very much. You have been amazing. Once again, it's Ruth Zubeiru over and out.